The Hornets would have been better off showing they had real faith in one guy, and they tried to do that. And I will say, but he backed out. They tried.
They did. Kenny was there. He just did. He verbally agreed. He didn't sign them.
And this is how I feel with the new coach, though. Like any coach that goes there, even if it's not D'Antoni, they got to. It's really what is the conversation behind the scenes? Because there's different conversations that happen. You're the coach. We're going to stand behind you, not the players. Whatever you decide, we're riding with you. Sometimes that's how organization goes with the coach. Other times there are different stipulations. We want you here to be able to do your thing, but this one thing or this two things, we want to run it this way. Did they have that stipulation with this new coach saying, LaMelo's got to be that guy? We're going to do this. This is our pace, and the ball runs through him no matter what. We don't know those behind the scenes talk. So even though I can say my opinion on, I don't think the team really believes in him, I can't say what job he's going to do, because if they hire you the first time and let you go and then bring you back, usually when you go to a job that you got fired from, there's a talk. You know what I mean? No matter, even if you're working at Wendy's, KFC, It don't matter. When you come back to say,
that's another point.
This is what you did wrong. So now we're hiring you back under these circumstances. And, he's somebody that the front office know we can control. We already will fire you, but we done it. So I'm hoping in the back of my mind that the stipulation and the circumstances that he's hired under, there's a window, a loophole that we can see something new, because we've seen what he already did. I'm like, how are we going to see something new?
My honest opinion, how are we going to see anything new out of Steve Clifford, who is at best, he can get you to eighth seed. Now, the reason why I say at best is because when he was getting Orlando Magic to the eighth seed 3 years in a row, that was no play-in tournament at that time. So, and I hope I'm wrong. When I say this, because I want the Hornets in the playoffs. I've been wanting them in the playoffs the last 2 years. When LaMelo hurt his wrist, I was like, damn, it was on the way. Damn. Like, it just wasn't time yet, right? So he fights back. He gets back early and everything, and then they lose in the play-in. All right, let's do it next year. Next year, we're going to break through. They get to the play-in again. It's like, well, what was wrong this time? Well, look at the roster. They lost Bismack Biyombo. That's a big presence in the middle. They're lacking size. Montrezl Harrell's good, but he's undersized at a 5, let's be honest. Prior to the legal problems, that's just a side story. But Steve Clifford has yet to prove that he can push you to the next level in this new era with a play-in tournament where these teams are fighting to either keep a spot or take your spot. So there's a different level of intensity. They're treating it like the finals. Like, this is like a championship.
Right.
They're playing
win or go home.
Level, go hard or go home basketball. And 2 years in a row, Borrego came up short. So I agreed with the firing or releasing, however they want to word it. I agreed with it. I was all for it. I was ecstatic when I saw the news from Woj that Kenny Atkinson was going to agree to a 4-year deal. I said, this is exactly what I wanted. I predicted it. I was on top of the floor. I said, this is it. Melo's going to get an all-star nod. He's going to get an all-star, not reserve. He got to earn an all-star. He's going to the playoffs. And then the Warriors win the championship, and he says, you know what? I kind of like it here. I think I'm just going to stay. Steve Kerr must have told him in his ear, I'm about to retire soon. So, since Mike Brown went to Sacramento, you next in line. So, since he's not here anymore, this team is yours. You can take the Jordan Pooles and the Kumingas and Wiseman and all the new guys, Gary Payton II. This is your team. Right. They know you.
And if there's a new coaching job that opens up with a better team, a more attractive market, now you're the number one coach.
You're next up.
You're the hottest coach. You winning championships. You turning down jobs. You next up.
But it crushed me because I'm like, why did you turn down Melo Ball? Like, but you know what, though? I think Kenny Atkinson sees when there's smoke, there's a fire. I got this feeling. You talk about behind-the-scenes conversations. I got this gut-wrenching feeling that Steve Kerr told Kenny, don't go to Charlotte. They're falling apart right before our eyes. It's unraveling day by day. They're not as toxic and dysfunctional as Brooklyn, but they're getting there. Because
don't become a casualty.
You're going to go out there, and they're going to fire you within 2 seasons if they don't go to the playoffs. Because MJ hates losing. We all know this. Highly uber competitive. tired of losing as an owner, right? So you go there, the expectation is win now. We need to win now. If you don't produce the results that we want and the expectations we set you at when we sit you down and you sign this contract, you're out of here within 2 seasons. And you went from a championship team, which you said ups your value because you can turn down jobs, to taking a job, and then they're going to dump all the blame on you because the bag is in your hand now. So I have a feeling that's the conversation Steve Kerr had somewhere along those lines. He said, you're a grown man. You make your own decision. But let me just share some knowledge with you from, because he's from Greg Popovich tree. He's from that pedigree. So he knows the game. As a player, as a coach, he knows the game. I wouldn't take that job if I was you. That's a ticking time bomb. But what do you do if you get to Charlotte and Melo gets upset, unhappy, and decides he demands a trade and wants to get out?
Now you're stuck.
Now you're stuck.
That very possibly could have happened. I could see that happening easily.
That's the only. Why else would you turn it down? You're there. You had opportunity to coach the next up, like the future of the NBA. We're talking John Morant's, the Melo Balls, Cade Cunningham's. That's the next era. We're in that new, like LeBron and Chris Paul are on their way out the door. This is it.
Maybe they see that, okay, they're hot now, but they don't see LaMelo staying. And it won't be a destination you want to be at, like you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, you don't know how long Melo's going to stay. And I might sound a little petty when I say this, but Melo is with Puma and not Jumpman. So I think there's still some bias there. Jordan's a little petty like that, I
mean, that's the thing. There's no other owner that was as widely considered the greatest basketball player of all time. So to say how it would be to be in a meeting with him versus these other owners versus these other you don't know the atmosphere. He's going to have a different mentality than those guys, a different attitude, a different demeanor. And
he hates losing. Some owners, like, I'm going to give you an example. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, right? So we got the Pacers. You know our history. We grow basketball, but we don't win basketball. So that's because our owners own shopping malls, right? They don't care about championships. The Simon brothers only care about money. So as long as we're somewhat competitive or
selling the tickets out,
sell tickets, make the playoffs, maybe, sell out the arena, sell some seats, sell some concessions. Get them to go to the Circle Center Mall that's connected to downtown, and buy some stuff.
Right.
They're good. They're content with us just being mediocre. Right?
Right.
You're talking about Michael Jordan, Mr. 6-0 in the finals, arguably the greatest of all time as an owner.
Right. He got all the money. You know what I'm saying? He wants the glory. That's what he's feeding off of. Yeah.
I want to win. I want rings as an owner. Bring me a ring. You can't do that. Get out my office. That's basically the attitude I would get from him. That's what I would see.
I wouldn't be shocked. We've seen what he was like on the court. We see his interviews. We can only imagine, he has to be somewhat like that in person. Somewhat.
I'm dead. We're not going to cut on no slack. Yeah, it's MJ. It's a GOAT. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't expect nothing less. I would be like, if he's acting any less than what we're talking about or what we envision, that's not the real MJ. He's fronting. That's not how he really feels. If you keeping it real and being transparent, I want to win now. So either y'all make this work or I'm firing everybody and I'm going to start all over and we're just going to scrap this whole situation because I'm tired of losing. Tired of being the laughing stock of the NBA. I'm the only black owner and I'm getting laughed at by all these other owners because I want to win and I'm in a small market.
Right. He can walk in the room and say, yeah, I'm the GOAT. But these other owners, they're looking at him like, you ain't winning.
Go where? You ain't been the GOAT since 98.
Right. Not up in this room.
not in this era. You're not. LeBron's the GOAT in this era. That's the argument they're giving him now, But so my next question goes like this. What are your goals and expectations based on what we know, because everything is constantly changing. Sports media is 24/7, 365. But what are your goals and expectations this season, knowing what you know with Steve Clifford as the head coach, with we'll use Mark Williams as the 5 right now because, of course, the DeAndre Ayton sweepstakes hadn't officially started yet. That's actually in like 48 hours. Everything will pretty much be changing constantly, and we'll be able to go from there. But what are your goals and expectations for the Charlotte Hornets going into this season, based on what you know right now?
As it sits, Miles still on the team. Steve, the coach.
Yep.
The center is a rookie. They're still going to start Plumlee. It's just the other center is going to be the backup. I see them at the exact same place. Now, I have stipulations that I believe, like, okay, if Melo has more of the keys and they're running, but we're not talking about that. Based on what we see right now, I don't see any progression.
I said it was a lateral move as soon as I see Steve Clifford name. I said, "Oh my God, we just got another Borrego." Y'all just went from Borrego to Borrego Part 2. Like, y'all might have kept Borrego if y'all was gonna get Steve Clifford. We might have kept James.
Other teams have gotten better that were at the bottom. So it's going to be hard to be 500 in the East unless you're making improvements.
I actually feel the exact same way. It's funny. I love that I'm not crazy. Like I was literally thinking to myself, like, how did they improve? Like, how did they improve? Because if I'm waiting on somebody to make the argument, well, Steve Clifford took Orlando to the playoffs 3 years in a row. I said that was before the play-in.